Coming to you from the depths of the galaxy, bringing you hot takes, hot news, and spicy discussions about games. We are the Uneducated Gamers! This episode is brought to you by GalaxyGameTV.com and Shipping Shield, creator of the cardboard top loader alternative, environmentally safe shipping card protection made in the USA. Go to shippingshieldus.com for more details. What's up, gamers? This is the Uneducated Gamers Podcast. I'm Chris.
And I'm Michael.
And we are here today without any tidbits. We're just going to go right into it for the Switch Direct announcement because we got quite a bit to talk about. Even though there was not a amazing stellar kind of amount of games discussed when it comes to comparison to Sony or Xbox, but there were still some good nuggets in here.
Have we become the itty bitty tidbit committee?
Oh.
We started doing tidbits, and then it became summer games, and we just too much content.
Yeah, I mean, I think the challenge that we face, right? Like the Xbox One that's about to come out here really soon, was literally 3 hours long.
Yeah, that one was big.
In fact, I'm still working on trying to trim down some of it if I can. And by the time folks hear this one, that one has already been released. But so we'll see. But yeah, these the summer announcements or the summer showcases or directs or whatever we want to call them, there's so much packed into these. And there's so many of them now, comparative to, say, when we had E3 or some of these, singular conferences. It does make it more verbose to cover all of these different angles and the different showcases, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So, I think... unlike the Xbox One, we don't really have any honorable mentions, but what we have at the end is some speculatory discussion that we'll get into. But first,
speculation.
No, but let's get in. Let's just jump right into it because I think there are some areas that I think we'll spend more time, and then there's some areas we'll be like, yep, next. So, the first one, and for fans of the podcast, if you haven't heard some of the previous episodes, this announcement that we got, the first announcement we got, was supposedly an announcement that was going to come during a direct for the Switch 2, and that was the Scarlet and Violet DLC for the game. I mean, it looks cool. It seems interesting, but not really something I'm going to be sort of opening my pocketbook to get because it's not a game that I play. But I also thought, and correct me if I'm wrong, I thought there was a lot of problems with this game. Do you know much about this game? As things have been fixed? Is this a game that's playable still?
I don't know. I didn't play much of this one. I knew it was a buggy mess on release, and I know they've probably fixed a little bit of it, but I doubt it.
I mean,
this DLC is basically just a couple of maps and a raid boss, right?
Is that what it was? I couldn't. You know what? Here's the uneducated part of this whole nonsense for me is I don't know a whole lot about the Pokemon games. In fact, you had informed me that my first introduction to Pokemon games, which was Sword and Shield, was a very bad one to play.
Yeah, that's not the game to start with. Those were awful.
So so I don't really have a good gauge of what any of these things really truly mean. Um, but yeah, I don't really get into the Pokemon games so much.
Have you played? I'm sure every time you've said that, I've also responded with this. Have you played any of the first gen or the third gen games?
Not yet. Like I have them. So for instance, I actually have the physical versions of was it Emerald and no, Emerald and
Third gen
is it
was
no.
Sapphire and Ruby, and then they had Emerald was like the 1.5 edition.
Yeah, okay. So so I played oh, sorry. So Emerald and Ruby, I actually have the physical cards for GBA, right?
Yep.
Um Legit versions, not the weird knockoff ones that are terrible from what I hear because they don't also have like the capability of saves. But anyways, I have them. I haven't played them yet. But I do want to play them.
If you between those two, you're probably best to pick up Emerald. It's the most memorable of the three, I would argue.
Gotcha. That was the first one that was on my list to play.
The best generations, and people could fight me on this, in no necessary order because it's going to be largely based on nostalgia. Gen 1, Gen 3, and Gen 5 are the best gens. So your original Red, Blue, Yellow, your Ruby, Sapphire, Emeralds, and your Black and White and Black, White 2.
What Black White and Black White 2. What system were those on? Was that 3DS?
In Gen 1 was original Game Boy, Gen 3 was Game Boy Advance, and then, yeah, DS. Nintendo DS was black and white.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, yeah, that's what I thought. Is this so let me ask this question because there were rumors that with the release of the next Switch, right? Now obviously we didn't get that here. We didn't get that announcement. That there was some gigantic like DLC that was going to come for Scarlet and Violet. Does this particular announcement and release like scream big announcement to you?
I wouldn't say so, no. This feels like adding another raid boss to like World of Warcraft or Destiny.
So perhaps there's still a really big DLC that could be coming our way for this.
With the Switch 2, and we'll probably talk about this a little later, but with the Switch 2, it's almost guaranteed that we'll get a major Pokemon release, a major Zelda release, and slash or a major Mario release.
But we're already getting a well, and we'll talk about it a little bit later too.
We'll talk about that later.
But we do have a Mario release coming our way here shortly. Um, but that's gonna be a little bit later down the road on this episode. But on that note, the next one I want to talk about is akin to the Mario. It's kind of actually funny if you think about this because Mario and Sonic were competitors at one point, and now they're being released and announced in the same Nintendo Direct as
Sega
new
doesn't
games.
make any hardware anymore, right?
They do not, no. But we are getting Sonic Superstars, a brand new Sonic title that I think, I'm going to be honest with you, this is one of the big, I think, announcements, in my opinion, for this Direct.
This game looks like fun. This looks like a joy to play. I'm interested. It says 4-player local co-op. I don't know how that's going to work.
Yeah, so there are 4 characters that you could play as. So you have Tails, you have Sonic, you have Knuckles, and then there's the other player that I don't remember the name of the character's name on.
Is it Amy? Yeah, that's Amy, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's Amy. Yeah, you're right.
I don't know how the co-op's going to work in this, because they didn't really show off mechanically how any of that would work.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't imagine it's an easy game to play with like a split screen or anything like that. So when they say co-op, my mind jumps to like a couple of the Kirby games they've had that were quote unquote co-op, where you're basically, if you're not player one, you're just kind of traipsing along behind player one while he does things.
You think so? Like, you think it's that small? I mean, I think one of the things that, if you notice, right, like in the gameplay, I was looking at it, and there are like pieces of this that you can see, like Tails and Sonic and Knuckles in the same screen. So I'd imagine they would sort of do it very. I would hope they would try to do it very similar to what they did when what was it, Sonic 2 with Tails and Sonic, where it was two players simultaneously on the same screen.
But I don't know that they're really acting independently or doing it. Like, is there a meaningful mechanic behind the multiplayer, or is it just kind of a sit there
Oh,
and be a part of the train kind of thing?
yeah, I guess that's fair enough. Not really sure on that one.
Because
Yeah.
I could see in the boss fight stages why there's like some independence there where you could all fight the boss together. But if you're just running at 100 miles an hour through the maze, like it's really difficult for you to meaningfully contribute.
But I think the original Sonic 2, if I'm remembering correctly, Sonic 2, you could be Sonic and Tails, and you both. I thought you both operated independently. No, or maybe I'm
It's
wrong.
been a long time since I played that game, and I almost exclusively played it single player.
Got it.
But I think you're right. I think in that game you were. I think it just split screened, and then you could be in different parts of the map at the same time.
Hmm.
I don't remember for sure.
Okay. I guess here's the other thing I think about is, I think the graphics being refreshed to be that 2D, 3D like kind of world, like almost like what they did with Super Mario World, but
Yep.
obviously taken to the next level, or even things like Donkey Kong Country. You know how they like sort of did that 2D, 3D world.
Yep.
I really like that concept, and I think that works with Sonic as well. So I'm really excited about that, as well as supposedly this is 12 brand new zones. They're not like rehash maps from back in the day. These are all built from the ground up zones, which I think is very key because we've seen way too many Sonic rehashes in these last several years.
Oh yeah, we have.
And we just don't need another Sonic rehash. I like the idea of having like just a brand new Sonic adventure and 2D side scrolling. So super happy about this.
It looks promising. The maps look fun. They've got cool new power ups that I've seen. Co-op could be really good if they do it right, but I've been burned by co-op games like this before.
Yeah, I mean, I think because they didn't show enough off, in my opinion. I think it's kind of like a wait and see, right? Next up, and I'm gonna butcher the name of this, and you're probably gonna have to come and help me out on this one, but I think it's Palea.
I'm
Palaya.
not gonna know.
Palea.
I my brain says Polia. Let's see here. I'm sure they said it out loud here.
Or Palea, something. Goodness gracious,
Palia.
Palea. There we go, like paleo almost. Just got to think about paleo. That's all you got to do.
I am a paleontologist.
So this one, to me, could be a sleeper hit. Out of this entire direct, this could be a sleeper hit.
These casual farming slash city sim games are always sleeper hits. No disrespect to Stardew Valley, but that game became a mega monster hit out of nowhere, too. And this kind of seems like it's doing the Stardew Valley thing, but maybe even a little more involved.
Yeah. So the way that I described this game, when I watched the video that we received during the direct, right, was I immediately saw a bit of Sims, I saw a bit of Animal Crossing with a sprinkle of Fallout 76.
I'm curious where you're getting Fallout 76 out of this, but
Well,
yeah, I'm with you otherwise.
I think the fact that you could play online with other players and explore with other people and fight bosses and explore these areas and what have you, I think that was the first thing that came to my mind was Fallout 76 because it's I consider Fallout 76 kind of a dumbed down like open world.
Fallout 76 is a bad MMO.
Well, yeah,
It's a
but
bad MMO with like extensive crafting.
it's like light MMO, right? And that's the other thing too is the crafting. Apparently, with this game, there is crafting skills, and it has different aspects of that kind of fall in that realm. So, honestly, I think it looks. I like the idea. I certainly want to see more as it's developed, but I think this could be actually a sleeper hit.
I basically see this as a Stardew Valley clone in 3D.
We'll wait and see. This is a wait and see, in my opinion, but hopefully this game delivers. I'm hopeful that this will be a game that I would be interested in picking up. Next up, we have Persona 5 Tactica. Now, we talked about this during the Xbox showcase and how excited I was about this game being discussed and wanted to play this in the Xbox announcement. However, now that I know it's coming out on Switch with this announcement, I wasn't sure if it was going to come out on Switch. But now that I hear that this is coming out on the Switch, I actually think regardless of being able to play this Xbox Game Pass day one, what have you, I'll certainly buy this on the Switch.
This is one of those where I wasn't super impressed by. Like I said in the PlayStation Expo, I'm glad this exists. There's a niche audience for this. I'm not a huge Persona fan myself, and so the setting doesn't really mean anything to me. And just judging from the video, I don't know if it's going to be as rich of a tactical experience as something like, well, this is reaching for the stars, but something like Faster Than Light or Into the Breach. Or even XCOM, for that matter.
Yeah, I think this kind of leans more into the action base of XCOM, like XCOM 2 kind of thing. So I feel like it's weird. It's like an action RPG in a RTS style design that's trying to be XCOM-ish, but within the Persona world. So I don't know. I got into Persona 5, I think, as I mentioned previously. So I think I just have some investment in this particular IP in that way that I'm interested to see more because I think it's really cool.
Sure.
So I don't know. We'll see.
Does this compete with something like Mario Rabbids? Probably not.
No, and we'll talk about that one here in a little bit because that one, that's what we got was kind of exciting for me. So moving on to the next one that I think is probably, in my opinion, could be the best game that we got out of this announcement. Like,
oh, you think?
By far the best game. Or I should say, has the potential to be the best game out of this direct, hands down. And that's Myth Force. Myth Force is a first-person game that's inspired by Saturday morning cartoons, right? Where you have to, like...
I have the power!
Where you eliminate hordes of enemies... in a high fantasy environment, and it's gonna be I'm so excited to see this thing released because I'm really hoping that we get this game. Like, it's like, look, I mean, get it, and it's a good game. I mean, when you talk about the nods of like He-Man, Thundercats, and Dungeons and Dragons all in the same game, come on, what's not to like about this?
It definitely exactly how I'm thinking about it. He-Man Masters of the Universe, but as a classic dungeon crawler
Mm-hmm.
kind of RPG. I don't even know if it's an RPG or if you're just running around killing things. But yeah, this looks like a joy to play.
So the way that it's described is a first-person roguelike adventure.
A roguelike. Interesting.
And there is a leveling system for your characters in this game. So it's like, to me, this is just a massive nostalgia trip if they pull this thing off. Because it looks, for what we saw, in my opinion, like, I'm like, I want to play it now. I wish they had like a demo for it. I'm going to be honest with you, but we'll see. One of the coolest things is the 4-player co-op opportunity here that I'm just like, what?
Do you know if it's local co-op? Oh, it must be because this is Switch, right?
Yeah. So I would think so. But just to note, even though this got announced on the Nintendo Direct, it will be coming out on PlayStation, it'll be coming out on Xbox and Steam.
Okay.
So it will be coming out on all formats. I probably will buy this on Steam instead of the Switch. I may also buy it on the Switch. But yeah, like, dude, this game, not gonna lie, I feel like is a game that could see some GGTV plays future in
Oh yeah.
in the near future, I should say.
I think whether I buy this on Steam or Switch entirely depends on support for local co-op.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Because this is the kind of game where, like, all right, I want to play this with my wife. I want to sit on the couch with 2 controllers and jam this out.
I think so, and there's no release date on this yet. And according to Steam, they have it. There's nothing out here yet that is has expanded on the co-op information. It just says co-op. So
It says
I think
online co-op.
Okay.
It says online co-op and partial controller support.
Okay. Well, we'll see. I mean, I think it's probably a little early to fully like judge what it's going to be, but dude, this game was just like, the first thing, the art style brought me back to the Dungeons and Dragons
Yep.
like cartoon. Like that was just like between Dungeons and Dragons and like say Thundercats. And then kind of just the feel of, you know, by the power of, you know, like they say that in there, like they kind of ripped it a little bit for He-Man. So I forget what they say, but it's pretty cool. I know we spent a lot of time on this one, but hands down, in my opinion, this stole the show for me. Like this was it. This was my
Interesting.
This was my favorite.
This one definitely looked like fun when I saw it, but I don't know if this is the one that I remember after watching it for the first time.
Really? Okay.
But yeah, no, coming back to it, yeah, it's definitely sinking in a little more. I'll play it. The thing about rogue likes is that I don't know how much of a fan of that genre I am holistically, but they are a really good genre for someone who doesn't have a lot of time to play games, because you can do, you know, 2 to 5 attempts generally on whatever system or whatever game you're playing in a short period of time within half an hour to an hour span, and then put it down.
Yeah, and that's where I think the co-op part of it too helps, right? Like, so if it's like you and a couple buddies, it allows you to like say, look, it's like, hey Mike, let's not record right tonight, and let's just play an hour of Myth Force. You know what I'm saying? Not saying we'll do that, but I guess my point is, like, that I feel like this style of game leans into that type of lifestyle, which I think is really cool, and I'm very much all about that. Okay. I don't think we'll spend much time on this one.
I still don't understand what these games are.
All right. So this one,
Somebody teach me.
you know what I'll have to do? We'll have to do like a screen share with my son playing this game for him to teach us because he wants to play this. So, anyways, we're talking about
Guest star your kid.
Splatoon 3 Splatfest, and this is an event. These are events that the Splatoon 3 game has on a regular basis. And this one, I guess he was telling me, cause, oh my gosh. So my son was like, yeah, like the last one they had was like, I think they said it was like cupcakes or something like that, or something interesting, like food wise. He's like, the ice cream seems to make more sense, right? Cause like, it's like, ice cream and splats and, Splatoon and what have you. I'm like, yeah, okay. Sounds good. So maybe what we do is we have him come on board a day, and we'll do it. We'll record a little bit earlier before bedtime when Splatfest comes out, and he can take us through and tell us all about Splatoon 3, and take us through Splatfest as he plays Splatfest.
That sounds like fun. That sounds great.
I also think the one thing I do want to say, right, about Splatoon 3, even though neither of us really kind of understand it or get into it, I think Splatoon has been since a long-running series in the Nintendo world, and I do appreciate the fact that they continue to add on what can be seen as a very growing IP in the Nintendo world. So I guess that's one thing to appreciate. So this is another one that my son talked to me about.
I'm gonna be really honest. It was throwing me the entire time that it was not Ryan Reynolds' voice.
Yeah, same here.
It really messed me up.
Same here. Because and what we're talking about is Detective Pikachu Returns. And so Detective Pikachu was a game before it was a movie, right?
Yeah.
And it was met with really wildly great reception the first time it was released. The first time I ever got introduced to Detective Pikachu was the movie. That was the first time I was like, oh, maybe they just made a movie off the IP and riffed off of it a little bit. And then my son educated me and said, no, Dad.
I never played the first game. I was vaguely aware of it. But yeah, it was mostly the movie was my initial real dive into it.
I do think that this is maybe not a forced release, but a release that they were likely timing around probably the next theatrical release of Detective Pikachu 2. Because I do know that it's wrapping up or has wrapped production.
Oh yeah, I forgot they were doing a sequel.
Yeah, and I believe it's supposed to come out this holiday, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah, capitalize on that.
Yeah. So my guess is this is kind of a tie-in to that to kind of cross-promote both things going on. But from what I understand, they're the people of the community are very excited about this announcement. And it seems fun. It seems cool. I probably won't buy it, but my kids will probably ask me to buy it.
Now on to something that this was one of the standouts for me.
Oh, yes. I have so much to say about this, but
You go off.
I've been talking a lot, so I'm going to defer to you to start.
Oh, I don't know if I have a ton to say. I have been out of the loop of Mario stuff for quite a while. The last thing I really spent a lot of time on was Mario 64.
Mm-hmm.
And everything past that, I've kind of just absorbed passively, either through Twitch or just general YouTube browsing. So I was not vaguely aware, I was pretty okay aware of the original Mario RPG. But this has me really excited because now I can maybe get this and play. It's not a remaster, right? This is more of a reimagining.
It's a remake, of the game, and so it's going to get a very similar treatment, as far as I'm aware. It's getting the same treatment as, say, Link's Awakening when it comes to
Okay.
the level of remake that it's getting.
S- Okay. So not like a one for one, but pretty faithful.
Yes, yeah,
Okay. Good. That's good for me because then I can get this and play and kind of experience what the original was like, which is what I was building towards.
and I think that's the best part about it is that is it's considered a remake, but it's kind of taking the formula of it's not a one to one, or at least this is what I understand. It's not a one to one, but it takes it takes it and evolves it a little bit more.
It's a
Yeah,
reimagining.
yeah, and which
Yeah.
which is what I think, even though Link's Awakening it had some things that were a little bit separate from the original, and it wasn't a straight one to one. I think what they did to it was what was outstanding, and it was, I mean, in my opinion, I couldn't imagine the game to be anything different. But I'm glad we're finally getting this. Like, this is something that I think is long overdue, and I'm glad it's coming now because I think it's going on the right system to do it.
Yeah. This doesn't seem like a game that needs accelerated hardware to
Mhm.
play.
Mhm. I also think this is the most underappreciated Mario game that was ever created. I think a lot of people didn't like the game when it came out. A lot of people thought it was a scoff at the Mario IP. But in my opinion, this was one of the coolest Mario games that ever existed.
How does this compare to like the Paper Mario series? Because those are like the handheld RPG style games, right?
Yeah, so I think this one was very different. This one took an isometric like feel to it, which is very different than, say, the Paper Mario series, right? Like the Paper Mario
Yeah.
still leaned into the 2D side scrolling side of things, whereas this was truly isometric, right? Um, and so I think it's very difficult to compare the two because I do think they are fairly different from each other. But this was the first time, and a lot of people don't know this, but and you can go check out the Gaming Historian, like sort of video documentary thing that he does. Like, he does great work. Super Mario RPG like almost did not release. Like, it
Oh,
almost was never a game.
sure.
Nintendo originally almost rejected this game to be made.
That makes sense.
And um, it took uh, Miyamoto some time to convince Nintendo. It's like, yeah, this will go good in the Western market, and they finally are like, okay. So they released it, and it did okay, but it didn't shake the world. But it actually gained popularity more later than it did when it released. So
Well, I'm very excited to play the remake.
um, they did announce a Peach game, which I'm like, yeah, this is not a surprise based on the movie, the reception of the movie. You had to think that there was going to be a Peach game coming.
They kind of blew by it. They didn't have a lot to say. Uh, it kind of feels like a cash grab for the reason you just stated. I don't know. Could be good. I have not enough information to form an opinion.
Same here. But the interesting thing about this, and we'll talk about this later, this is not supposed to release until next year. Which, question mark? No pun intended on the Mario thing, by the way. This is the question. The next one that we got, and actually this is another exciting one. I was surprised when we got this one. The Luigi Mansion Dark Moon. Now, it's not a remake. It's just an enhanced version of the game, but still probably one of the best Luigi Mansion games is from the 3DS is coming to the Switch. I'm all for it. I'm excited about that.
Those I haven't really looked into much at all. I've heard that they're fun, but boringly easy.
Boring. Well, I guess everybody has their own opinion. I think the thing about Luigi Mansion games is it's just simple fun, right? And that's the way that I see it. Like for instance, I have Luigi's Mansion 3 for the Switch. It's just mindless fun that, like, if I just want to kill like an hour time or whatever, I'll throw it on and play because it's just fun, you know? So right on cue. We both said it at the same time. Go ahead, sir.
The Batman Arkham trilogy is being ported over to Nintendo Switch. Now, at the end of the Switch life cycle.
Pushing it out the door. Pushing it out the door, Michael.
It's such a weird choice. Like, don't get me wrong. This is one of the better trilogies of all time.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Batman Arkham trilogy is great. All three of those games are fantastic.
Absolutely.
They're also, like, they gotta be 20 years old at this point, right?
Roughly, yeah.
It seems...
I think Arkham Asylum came out in 2001 or 2000.
Let me take a look here. Oh, 2009. So more like 15 years.
2009.
Still.
Okay. All right.
It seems like odd timing for such an old game. Either you bring it on right away when you start doing ports on the platform because it's a really popular series, or actually that seems like the only option. Like, unless there's some other big topical tie-in, maybe they're trying to cash into the Batman movies with a sparkly vampire guy.
Maybe. I mean, I think so. Think about it this way. So 2009, 2011, and 2015, right? So if we think about it, with Arkham Knight coming out in 2015, that's only 7 years ago. It's not terrible. I think the other thing to think about is this is supposed to include all the DLC as well.
This is true.
So this is like a one package meets all. And so here's another thought too. And we've talked about this a couple of times, and the appreciation of Nintendo in trying to include all of the content on the cartridge as much as they can, right? This doesn't change the fact this is a very strange, out of nowhere inclusion to the Nintendo Switch. However, it's not a terrible one at that, I guess.
Oh no, like I'm not mad at all that this is available on Switch. It just seems like odd timing, and it seems like it's against their core audience too, right?
Yeah, that's
like, I don't know. They want to do cutesy party game, RPG platformer stuff. Which, to be fair, these are excellent platformers. They're 3D open world platformers. But I don't know. When I see things like Skyrim or Batman, or I'm pretty sure Doom 2016 got ported.
Yeah.
To the Switch.
And it plays well. It actually plays well, surprisingly enough.
It feels like what are you trying to accomplish here? I think they're trying to accomplish appealing to the dads of the young children that they bought their Switches for.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
So this is absolutely the game for that.
I think the caveat here in this game, if you want to talk about in the emulation community, these are some of the toughest games to emulate, right? The Arkham Asylum absolutely is really difficult. Arkham City does okay, and Arkham Knight is probably one of the easier ones to emulate these days because I think they had updated their architecture. But
Yeah.
Arkham Asylum is notorious even on high end PCs, a very difficult game to emulate.
It was one of the earlier 360 games.
Yeah, and so I do wonder, and I'm hoping that they remaster the code at least to run on the Switch faithfully. So
Oh, they would
I
have to because the Switch doesn't have a lot of power.
so I
It doesn't have extra resources for you to have a non optimized game on.
but that's the thing that I'm concerned about, right? I'm concerned that if they don't perform well, then what's the point of even releasing this?
Uh huh.
So we'll see. I'm hopeful because I'll certainly check it out and probably buy it. I guess the other question is this going to get a physical? They didn't actually mention if this was going to get a physical release or not. So that's another thing to watch
I
out
somehow have my doubts, and I don't have any evidence to back that up
Yeah.
with. But I somehow have my doubts that they'll make Nintendo Switch cartridges with Batman's face on them. Right? The concept seems ridiculous, and I don't really know why.
I mean, they have cartridges with Isaac's face on them, so that's. I mean, Batman. I feel like is a lesser evil than Isaac.
Like the Binding of
Yeah.
Isaac? Yeah, that makes sense.
Next up is one that kind of just like scratches my head a little bit, because the style of game it is. So it's Gloomhaven. A lot of people are raving about this game. This is basically a dungeon game mixed with turn-based and cards. I I just don't see this something that I would play on the Switch.
I am a fan of board games being ported as video games.
Sure.
That's kind of a niche of mine.
Okay.
And the Switch, being the type of hardware it is, feels like a good repository for those kinds of games.
Okay. It's a very different take than I have, but at the same time, I mean, I guess that makes sense. I might have to re I might have to revisit
Because
this.
that's what this is, right? Gloomhaven is like it's a board
Yeah,
game,
yeah.
and this is just a video game interpretation of it.
Yeah.
And if you look at it from that perspective, what's the difference between this and, I mean, obviously, other than like the game itself, it's the same concept as Mario Party, right?
Except for the card based part of it. And that's the part of it, like, so like having a, like, say, of a deck of cards or whatever. Like I
Right.
think that's the part of it, unless it has touch controls, like doing as a controller, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a little too close minded about it. And maybe that's my problem, but it just
Other card games do okay with that. Um, what else have I played? What's the tower, the roguelike card game that I always forget the name of? Not the Monster Train, but that one's fun too. There's Monster Train, there's Inscription. Both of those you can play with a controller. But also Slay the Spire.
Oh, yeah.
Slay the Spire is another one that works just fine on controller. Those are different. So a good example for this, have you ever played Wingspan?
Oh, yeah, long time ago. Yeah.
Wingspan is a very fun board game, and there's a Steam video game version of Wingspan. You can also play that with a controller just fine. It's not at all hard to control.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, I'm just a fan of board games as video games, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's worth a check out. I guess if you put it that way, I certainly will take a peek at it. The next one I don't have any words for. Do you?
No.
Do you want to just do
I
you just want to
I
dance?
don't have a DDR mat. I haven't seen a DDR mat since like
Oh no,
2004.
you don't need a mat. You just put the controller in your pocket.
What?
You wave you have the Joy-Con in your hand and you put another one in your pocket.
What's the point of that?
It senses your movements, man.
All right, this is going to be like a Splatoon thing. Like, what is the objective here? How do you
You
win? What is the
you get
game?
points.
Are we just
You
dancing?
get points for getting dance moves, man. Just dance, man. Just dance.
I know the Lady Gaga song. I like Lady Gaga.
You put on a good poker face. Let me tell you.
Poke her face. No, but I'm aware of Just Dance. I'm being a little bit obtuse. But yeah, at least Dance Dance Revolution had like a fun, unique input system that you can hack into other games to play Halo 4 snipers with a Dance Dance Revolution mat.
Wait, that was a thing?
Oh god, yeah. People use DDR mats as a meme in lots and lots of online competitive games.
Oh man.
I've seen Counter-Strike players use it. I saw a really, really fun video the other day. I don't know if it was Counter-Strike or if it was Rainbow Six, but the guy was operating a sniper rifle using a recorder as his input of choice. Like, toot, toot. That's how he would snipe people.
That is pretty awesome.
I'll have to find that video for you.
that just seems that just okay. That's a lot of work to get there, but all right, whatever. Yeah, I mean, look, Just Dance, it's been around for a long time. It is what it is. I'm just not interested in it. Next up, we have another RPG, which I think the Switch is very famous these days for a lot of RPGs, especially Nintendo, right? But we get a new game called Silent Hope, where, basically there's 7 warriors who join together in an action RPG, which is like you go into dungeons and it's basically a dungeon crawler. And it's like the way that I explain this game and the way that I can like equate it is like it's Link's Awakening meets Final Fantasy. And it certainly seems interesting enough to give it a try.
Yeah, that seems like a pretty accurate interpretation to me. It's a chibi hack and slash dungeon crawler with a unique IP, which is nice to see. Nintendo Switch games are pretty notorious for having the same 5 IPs over and over again.
No, they don't do that.
What? No.
They don't do that.
Never.
What are you talking about? But yeah, I think I do appreciate this style game. This is kind of this holds near and dear to my heart. These are the types of games that I do like playing. In fact, I'm playing Final Fantasy 16 right now. Not right now, but
Yes, you are. Don't lie.
So I'm actually I will definitely play it. I think it looks really cool. Not sure if this is something that kind of fits your fancy, but this seems cool enough. It's like it actually, if you think about it, it kind of takes Link's Awakening and Final Fantasy and sort of props it up into the Diablo realm of style of games a little bit. And that's why I think I'm also gravitating to it a little bit, because it feels more additive to then the blanket like style genre that like say Link's Awakening and Final Fantasy has historically done.
Fae Farm coming up next.
I got nothing.
It looks like this is the second one in the direct today that looks like it's a Stardew Valley clone.
Yeah, I mean it's a very crowded space. I mean, my notes on this one is it's an interesting release because this is a very crowded space on the Switch.
Yeah, it is. You've got Stardew Valley and you've got Animal Crossing,
Yeah.
and both of those are juggernauts in that genre.
Yeah. And Animal Crossing is a very far superior game to most of these games in this space and on the Switch. Next up, Hot Wheels Unleashed 2.
It's a goofy arcade racer with a custom track editor. I don't. It doesn't purport to be anything more than that. I don't think it has to be anything more than that.
No, it's actually so I do play Hot Wheels Unleashed on the Xbox Series X. I actually quite enjoy it. It's a very fun arcade, track building racing game, right? Um,
So is this a port, or is this an actual sequel that's
no,
coming
it's an
out?
actual sequel that's coming out.
Okay, okay, that's what I thought.
And I think if you think of the game, do you remember the game a long time ago, Micro Machines? I think it came out on the GBA, I believe.
No, I actually don't think I played that one.
I think it was, I believe it was NES was the first version of the game, and then it came out on Game Boy Advance, I believe. And that game was fantastic. And so, Hot Wheels has dabbled in racing games before, and they tried to kind of be more in the simulator style of racing games. And then they decided, maybe not they, but the developers who got the license to do a Hot Wheels game, they were like, we should make a track building, like, arcade style racer. And, Hot Wheels Unleashed, I'll be honest with you, you look around, like, it gets a lot of good praise because I think the game is very well built. The systems they have are great. And I actually think, honestly, especially if they add the component of the motion controls of the Joy-Cons and the controllers on the Switch, Hot Wheel Unleashed 2 could be really cool on the Switch. It has not been on the Switch yet, I don't believe.
Okay. Yeah. Again, it knows what it is, and it's just trying to do that one thing really
Yep.
well. I think this is gonna go on the list of games like Golf with
Yeah.
Friends, or what's the one we played with Joe? Robo Disco Derby Dodgeball. It's like I
Yeah.
have 3 to 5 people in a Discord lobby, and we want something fun to do for a couple hours. We got time to
Yeah.
kill. Let's do this. This is great.
Exactly. And then you can like pack it away for a little bit and then you come back to it. Unlike games like genital jousting, where I'm like, I don't know how you guys got me like to buy that game to go play it because I'll never play that again.
That's what that you play. You get it for like $5, and then you play it like once or twice a decade for the memes.
um,
Like Devolver's entire business model.
oh man. The next one is a complete separation of talking about Hot Wheels Unleashed, and that's Manic Mechanics. What?
So this looks to me like another frenetic co-op puzzle game. Do you remember Overcooked?
Yes. Yep.
Overcooked. I don't want to say they started this trend, but they're the ones that I think of when I think about this kind of game. They kind of set the bar for this trend of game, and this may even be the same developer. I'm not sure, but you had Overcooked, where you had a co-op group of 2 to 4 people, and you're trying to get all the orders out, assemble everything, and the maps are made to be intentionally difficult and stifling. So it just becomes a frustrating mess, but because of that, it goes around the horn to being hilariously fun. Then they did the same thing with a game called Derailed, which was
Oh, yeah.
you're trying to build this train track to get the train from point A to point B, but the catch is the train is already on the track, so you're racing against the clock. You're building it in real time, clearing logs and everything else. So this looks like another one in that genre of game where you've got to fix all these cars and there's a ticking clock and things that are going to go wrong. Fires are going to start, tires are going to pop probably.
So where do you put this in the queue of games that you would play?
I take this in the same way I would the Hot Wheels game, where I've got a couple of groups of friends or a couple of friends in a group and time to kill, and we want a party game to play together.
Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, I mean,
It's good, clean
I,
fun.
I guess in that way, I would agree. But here's something that I would think is, would I want to do that on the Switch or would I want to do that on the PC?
Um, Probably the PC, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, and
Unless this one supports local co-op, which they usually do.
got it. Okay, I see what you're saying.
They usually support local co-op.
I mean, in that way, if you put it that way, like I probably would check it out, but otherwise, probably not something I would buy to like have a cartridge of and hang on to for eternity.
Sure.
Next up is probably something I've been waiting for, because I've been playing a bit of Mario and Rabbids, and that's DLC for Mario Rabbids Spark of Hope. For it's called the Last Spark Hunter, and you visit a musical world with new areas and enemies to face, and you interact with the game in a music kind of fashion. We just got like a good a glimpse of what this looks like, but honestly, this looks pretty cool and inventive, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Mario and Rabbids. I haven't really played much of it, but I know it's a pretty beloved strategy game. So I'm happy to see games like that get more content.
Yeah, I think it's a genre of game that, if you haven't played it, you can't really appreciate it, but once you play it, you're obsessed about it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's one of
Yeah,
those like
yeah.
in between kind of games where not everybody gets into it, but once you get into it, you kind of get into it. Next up, Dragon Quest Monsters: The Dark Prince. Now, this is kind of like Dragon Quest has been a Nintendo staple for years.
Forever since the beginning, I had an original Dragon Quest, or well, Dragon Warrior NES cartridge because they had to change it for the US release.
Yeah, like this, to me, again, another great true to form release to the game. Dragon Quest is I think forever going to be a staple in the Nintendo world. I actually bought in Japan they released Dragon Quest 1 through 4, like re-released it as like almost like a pixel remaster.
Oh,
And
nice.
so I did buy the physical version of that, and I'm really excited. I'm actually going to play them when I'm on vacation. So I'm really excited about that. It just came like a month ago, and I was really excited to get the physical version. Like you can buy it in the U.S. as a digital version, but you know me, like I prefer I prefer having the
Yeah,
physical version of the game.
absolutely.
So I think this is another really good new entry into the series. You can't, generally speaking, you can't go wrong with a Dragon Quest game.
Yeah, yeah. It's a series I've been meaning to try to start to finish my way through. I had only played the first one for forever because I had it on NES when I was like 6. But that was, it was really difficult to get anywhere because you only had. it was just a hard game, and you were little, and it took me a long time to really figure out that you could save the game. So I would like marathon it and get like leveled up to like level 30 and then have to start over, which was pretty funny. But then I got a little older and then I fell off of it and only recently have come back to realize that there's like 13 of these games. It's gone on just as long as Final Fantasy
Yes,
has.
yeah, yeah.
So I really want to go back and play a bunch of these.
You know what I should do when you come out for the birthday bash? Because by then, I mean, I'll probably rip through a bunch of these. But what I should do is I should give you the cart to take back with you and play back from the beginning because I think you would really appreciate them.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I like sprawling RPGs like this. This is my jam. But the something I want to mention about this game in particular is it's joining a trend I've seen recently, and I hope a trend that takes off. Is it's a Pokemon competitor.
Yeah.
Did you catch
Yes.
that?
Yeah.
This is a wander through the land, capture monsters, form an RPG team, and battle them. Because Pokemon as a franchise has been falling down. They've been stagnating pretty badly. So there's room for someone to come and dethrone them. And there's a couple in this particular direct actually that are already starting to do that. There's this one and another one I'd really like to stop and ponder about in a little bit.
Sure. Yeah, I think I agree. Like, I think what is the coolest thing about what they've done here, or at least what I perceivably they've done here, because again, it's just like a trailer and what we've seen about it. But what I really like about it is they took the persona of Dragon Quest, right, and integrated a new mechanic, which is the monsters, perceivably, right, and to be more, to be more interactive with the environment, and you're not just yourself and what have you. And which, so I think it's a very interesting new spin and take, while still being very true to the Dragon Quest IP, and I very much appreciate it. And I agree with you. I think there are some competitors that are sort of kind of chinking at that, chipping at that armor of the Pokemon thing, because I do think I agree with you. I feel like Pokemon's on a decline right now.
It is. It has been for a long time. Pretty much since they probably peaked on Gen 5 with the black and white stuff. Although the Gen 6 X and Y were also pretty decent, and that's when they really started declining after that. Sun and Moon were pretty bad. Sword and Shield were awful. I'm not even going to bother with Scarlet and Violet. I'm just not going to play them. The only interesting one as of late was Arceus, and that's because they changed up the formula mechanically. I haven't finished it, and I'm probably not going to because I did eventually get bored with it. But I was really happy to see a new spin, or at least them trying to do anything new whatsoever.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting, and I know I say, because I haven't gotten into the Pokemon games so much. Like I said, Sword and Shield was the first introduction that I had, and I'm very interested in going back to play some of the older ones that we've discussed. But I understand Pokemon as an IP, right? So like understanding the what Pokemon is and the type of game it is, that is not new on me. Like, so I understand Pokemon overall, and that's where I think games like the new Dragon Quest game and some others that we will talk about really kind of just challenge the status quo that Pokemon is still kind of riding the tail of for many years.
I think the thing I've just now put together in my head, so take this with a grain of salt because I'm probably just making shit up. I think the thing that maybe started killing Pokemon as a franchise, and killing is the wrong word because they're an absolute juggernaut, But as far as game quality goes, so you think about back in the day, Gens 1, 2, and 3, probably largely considered by most people to be at least one of those to be the best generations. This was a time when you didn't really have the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Most people even didn't even have computers in their homes at that point. You just had a Game Boy and a cartridge. Um, the lucky few had like game guides. Some people had Game Sharks to cheat with. Um, but no one really knew the ins and outs of the game. They were just discovering things as they played. It was really a wild west of social RPG experiment.
Hmm.
It was a really really social game because it wanted you to meet up and battle each other and trade, and no one knew all the rules. No one really knew what was going on or how you got everything. Um, and it took a lot of time and a lot of experimentation to figure things out. And so it was more than just the game itself. And I think that's something you don't have with these newer games because first of all, they've simplified a lot of those mechanics a lot, for better or for worse. Like, you don't have to spend 6,000 hours breeding the perfect IV Pokemon anymore,
Yeah.
just for a battle with some playground kids. And even if you did want to do that, there's perfect guides online at the tip of your fingers on how exactly to do that.
That's actually a very interesting point, and that's where I think the 3DS really, I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that's where I think the 3DS excelled in games like Pokemon at that time, right? Because 3DS breeded like that, it thrived on the having multiple 3DSs, right? Like that was the point of it, right? Like being able to play socially was a component of the 3DS, right?
I'm an old guy who had a Game Boy and a link
Yeah.
cable.
But that too, right? Like so those like 3DS, Game Boy Advance, like those systems, like they were predicated on promoting social gaming where let's be honest, the Switch doesn't even achieve that today.
As of the Switch games, you actually can't use any of the social features unless you're subscribed to
Yeah.
the Nintendo Online.
Exactly.
With the 3DS, you still had I don't remember if you could in Sun and Moon, but I'm pretty sure in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, you had access to like the global trade station and online battles and stuff. Um, oh yeah, you must have for Sun and Moon because I definitely battled with some friends of mine online a few times.
Yeah, I mean,
But it's just gone as of the Switch. You can't do battles, and you can't do trades unless you pay a subscription. And I'm just not gonna do that. Sorry.
yeah, and that is probably the single most the differentiator between the current gen Pokemon games versus the prior gen Pokemon games because of that, right? Because I mean, if you really break that down and you think about it, and I know we're getting a little philosophical here, but at the same time, if you kind of just break down this gaming generation in this way and you think about that, that's a real problem for Pokemon games because it's a big detraction from what it used to be and what people fell in love with that type of game. And now
It's not a community gaming experience anymore.
why do you think, like, think about it, why did they create Pokemon Go? Like, seriously, like Pokemon Go, and why is Pokemon Go so popular?
Yeah. It was people trying to recapture that childhood experience of meeting people up in random parks with their Game Boys to trade for that shiny that they found.
Right.
It's great. It was awesome. Not only is that gone in the newer games, because, I mean, unless you're willing to pay a subscription, but even then, like, let's be honest, you're just sitting on your couch using the global trade station.
Yeah.
Um, but it puts much more of an onus on the single player content, and let's be honest, the single player content just isn't there. It kind of hasn't been there for a long time, even with some of the quote unquote better games. Um, it's just not. It's not a game that's meant to be carried by its single player content.
So that actually makes me think about Dragon Quest Monsters. Even it kind of brings it up on the pedestal a little more. If it achieves kind of that great blend between Dragon Quest and Pokemon, that actually truly could be an amazing game.
It could be. I we'd have to see. I still think that even outside of Pokemon, games that are predicated on uh, exploration and capture collection, um, I think there's still they need multiplayer to be their focus.
Yeah.
In order to really reach their potential. And I don't know if Dragon Quest Monsters is going to be able to do that any better than Pokemon can because of the whole subscription online thing.
Moving on to Pikmin 4. This is a long way to release. Like a lot of people so I played Pikmin 1. I never played 2. I never played 3. But Pikmin is a beloved franchise in the Nintendo world, and Pikmin 4 has been just, people have been waiting. When is it coming? And it's finally coming this year, July 21st. It's just right around the corner.
Excellent. Yeah, I know absolutely nothing about Pikmin. So yeah, I'm glad. I know it's a big release. I'm glad people are excited about it. If you could, in 20 words or less, explain to me what this game is, I would greatly appreciate it.
Well, it's a little hard to explain in 20 words or less. So Pikmin is like, think of Toy Story, right?
Yeah.
The movie Toy Story, right? And where you have all these minions and characters that kind of work together to do things and collect things and what have you, right? That's essentially what Pikmin is. Not saying that it's a rip of Toy Story, because it's not, but that's the best way I can equate it to something that's pop culture.
Okay.
And it's just it's one of those like wickedly just low energy fun games that make you just giggle, laugh, and just have fun with what you're doing.
Sure.
So yeah, that's what Pikmin really is. And I know that was way more than 20 words, but that was the best that I could do.
Okay.
Pikmin is just super fun. And I would encourage anybody who has not played Pikmin. I mean, I would certainly suggest picking it up if you just like dumb fun and be like, what am I actually doing? But I'm actually having fun doing whatever I'm doing, and it's cool.
Do you think this is a game that's going to perform well on the Switch hardware?
I think so. I mean, I think it's not a very intensive game. They really kind of just borrow from... They lean into the strengths of the system, in my opinion, so I think it's going to be completely fine. Now, the next thing that they announced with the Pikmin franchise is finally, which I can't believe it's taken this long, like the entire life cycle of the Switch, to get Pikmin 1 and 2 on the like HD on the Switch, like a new updated HD version of the Pikmin 1 and 2. What I'm really upset and disappointed in is the cash-in on doing Pikmin 1 and 2 and making it a $50 buy, and it's a digital-only buy to the two games.
$50 for a 2-game remaster doesn't sound that out of the ordinary.
So it's not a remaster. All it is an upscale version of the original game.
Oh.
And so that part of it, that they say they're reimagined, but I kind of like, I peeked at it and watched some of the gameplay. They're not like a Link's Awakening to where they've like completely rebuilt the game. It's basically a copy, paste, replace assets and such. And to me, for $50, and me as somebody who is a very avid fan of the Pikmin series, I think it's a cash grab at this point. It should have been $39.99. That's what it should
Or
have been.
just 30 bucks.
Yeah, something like that.
Speaking of disappointing copy and paste updates.
Yeah. Metal Gear Solid collection. I was originally going to have a lot to say about this. But I think I'm just going to refrain, other than I'm very disappointed. I was very excited at first. And then once I started digging into the contents of what this Volume 1, knowing that it's just a Volume 1, and meaning that there's going to be another volume, this I'd rather go out on the internet, buy the PS3 version of Metal Gear Solid Legacy Edition and play all the same games. That's what I would. And plus you get Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yeah.
This is disappointing. Like, it's kind of like a pie in the face to Metal Gear Solid fans, because they deliberately left out some things to be able to sell another volume of this game series. Just put them all in one.
That's always annoying when you could easily package it together and you don't. It's like how PlayStation is in two, or PlayStation. It's like how Pokemon is always in two versions.
Yeah.
With the only meaningful difference between the two is catch rates of certain species.
What they did with Sword and Shield was there was certain Pokemon that were not available in one or the other, which is, I think, one of the first times they did that.
No, that's pretty typical.
Oh, is it?
They've been doing that since the beginning.
That's stupid. Like,
it's the only meaningful difference between the games.
That's lame. Absolutely lame. And what I'll say is, unfortunately, will I buy this? Only if it comes out in physical. If it's just digital only, no way. I mean, we don't know if it's going to get a physical edition or not. No, I'm sorry. They did say at the end of that the physical edition will come out later and will be available. I'm just disappointed. I'm just disappointed. Period. Nothing else I can say about it.
Vampire Survivors is coming to Switch.
You know what's funny is I hadn't bought this game yet, right? And you talked about it recently, right? A few episodes back before these events came, the gaming events came, and talked about it briefly. Of you really like the game, right?
I scoffed at it at first. I'm like, this game looks kind of dumb and kind of shallow, and it's only $5, but and even though it's only $5, after playing it, it is kind of dumb and it's kind of shallow, but it's dumb and shallow in a really fun way, like old school side-scrolling blitzkrieg shooter games kind of way.
But I think it's also, I understand it came out on Steam and it's on PC or whatever, and I think it's also on Xbox, I believe. I'm not sure. But this is, in my opinion, this is an excellent inclusion for the Nintendo Switch. And I actually, when this got announced, I didn't realize that it wasn't on the Switch already.
It's what makes it so good for the Switch is that it's an excellent it's an excellent low investment handheld title.
Yeah.
I can take this and just sit on the couch with it and just hang out with my wife while I passively play this game.
I don't know if this is on the Switch version or not Switch. I'm sorry, Steam version or the other consoles, but apparently on the Switch it's 4-player co-op.
Oh.
Couch co-op?
Is it really?
Yes.
Interesting.
And I was like, oh, that would be kind of cool. And that was the thing that I thought was a separator in this. And I could be wrong. Maybe the other versions have that. But I was like, is that new? Because you hadn't mentioned that before.
Let me take a look on the Steam page. I guess it hasn't come up for me, It hasn't mattered. Vampire Survivors single player on Steam.
So, Vampire Survivors on the Switch is 4-player local co-op.
All right, I'm gonna. This is just a slam dunk for me. Hopefully it's also still only like $5 to $10, and I'll just snag it on the Switch, and maybe my wife will be interested in playing it, maybe not, but I'll play it as a handheld just when I'm tired and want to do something with my brain.
I mean, to me, this is again, in my notes here, perfect inclusion for the Switch of lineup games. I think it's perfect. And it's in that note, it's a 4-player co-op scenario, instant buy, in my
Yeah,
opinion. Like this
absolutely
instant buy. 4-player co-op.
as long as the price is still cheap. I wouldn't pay more than $10 for this game.
Yeah, and I don't imagine, and I don't consider this game to get a physical release. I don't think it will, right?
No,
So
God, no.
if that's the case, then I do see it staying in that $10 range. I don't feel like it would be more than that. The next one is a real headbanger.
What is this?
And that's pun intended, by the way. Headbangers Rhythm Royale. Like, what? WTF, folks?
Is this
Why does this exist? What is this?
is this Pixar's short film For the Birds but made into a WarioWare kind of game?
No, I feel like this is more like, you remember that game? What is it called? Singing Monsters on the tablet.
No, I don't think I've ever owned a tablet.
Okay, so there was a tablet or an iPad game that came out a long time ago called Singing Monsters. Look it up at some point. You will be like, what? WTF, mate. So that's what I consider this game, is like an adaptation to that for the Switch with a bunch of like weird characters, and it's a rhythm game, just like but done very cartoony, and in my opinion, I feel like poorly, but I mean, I guess maybe I'm just judging a peach at this point, but I don't know. This game just confuses me.
So, My Singing Monsters is free to play on Steam.
Yeah.
What is this? Alright, this is up there with Splatoon, where I just don't get it.
Headbangers just, to me, is a rhythm game that is not very interesting. I don't know.
No.
I could be wrong, but
I'm not a big fan of WarioWare style games either. There's no depth to them.
Next up, we have Penny's Big Breakaway, which, I don't know, it seems interesting. It's like Sonic meets Ratchet and Clank, but at the same time, do we really need another, like, game like this? And ironically enough, it's made by the same people who made Sonic Mania.
Was Sonic Mania one of the good ones?
It's okay. I mean, I play it. I have played it. It's okay. But at the same time, do we need a new IP that's based off this? Do we need a new IP that's like similar to Ratchet and Clank? Like, we have Spyro, we have Ratchet and Clank, we have Banjo-Kazooie. Like, do we really need another one?
Didn't Ratchet and Clank just get us a trilogy remaster not too long ago?
Maybe. I know we got, so we have the PS5 game that came out called Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, which was an amazing game, by the way.
Which is on Steam, by the way.
Is it?
It is.
Oh wow. So yeah, who is this game for? Do we need it?
I don't know. As someone who enjoys these 3D platformer games like this, I can't really say that I'm against it existing. Um, I think it's kind of a crowded space. There's probably
Yeah.
other games you would pick up before this, like you just get the Spyro remaster. The Spyro Reignited trilogy was amazing. The Crash
Yep.
Bandicoot Insane trilogy was amazing. I could have sworn Ratchet and Clank got remasters, but I now can't find them to be sure. But Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is on Steam. Um,
There you go.
there's also other things like what was it was a was it Big World? There was some sort of one that had like a voodoo doll kind of protagonist that was also a relatively decent platformer.
Big Little
Little
World
Big
something.
something
I
like
don't know.
that.
Yeah, Little Big World something like that. Yeah.
So, if they have something interesting to add to the genre, by all means do it, and it'll probably be fun. But I don't know if they can even compete, especially the fact that they're trying to compete on Nintendo's platform, and Nintendo is kind of like the arbiter of platformers.
Right. Right. It's a very crowded space in the platform that they're building on. Next up, we got season 5 uh Pass Wave 5 for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I mean, it's whatever. I like Mario Kart 8. Um, I'm still surprised that this game is just still going. But honestly, I guess they don't really need to make a new Mario Kart. Just make content for the current one because the current one is pretty darn solid and good.
Yeah, to that end, like there's only so much you can do to improve upon what you like. Once you get a really good system, there's only so much you can do to improve upon that, right? So you might as well just
Yeah,
keep making like optimizations and adding content. That's kind of what Rockstar's been doing with Grand Theft Auto 5 while they work on 6
for
for
years.
years.
And now, granted, this is the second generation of Mario Kart 8. Like a lot of people, some people don't realize Mario Kart 8 actually came out
So
on the Wii
it
U.
was a Wii U game, yeah.
Yeah, it was a Wii U game. But they did improve it coming into the Switch when they did Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And so I really do appreciate the fact that all you have to do is just have the season pass content, and that season pass, mind you, you scoff at the online subscription, but this is one piece that I like as an owner of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Any of these booster passes they come out with, which is the last 5, is included with our subscription, right? So I actually do appreciate that because we do play a lot of Mario Kart in this house. Now, not saying that's why you would buy the online account, but I guess my point is it's an added bonus that I certainly appreciate, especially having kids and playing Mario Kart 8.
Yeah, that's fair. I would personally be inclined to just buy the DLC as a package. But also, that stuff never goes on sale for Nintendo.
Right.
This game is still full price, even though it came out on the Wii U.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, yeah.
ridiculous.
So if you think about this, right, 5 passes of content, if you would do it as DLC, that's at minimum you're thinking from Nintendo, it's $20 a piece, right? So that's that's $100, right? That's 3 years of Nintendo Online, in my opinion, right? So like if you think of cost value basis versus everything else that you get for that $100, like, yes, are you paying every year? Sure, but there are some perks that are kind of included in that, as long as you're able to take advantage of those perks.
Yeah. For you, like you said, for your case, it makes absolute sense. For me, not so much.
Fair enough.
If I had, I would love to play more Mario Kart, but I don't really have anyone to play it with. So it's not a game I've really invested in very much.
Next up is an interesting game that is I don't know how to explain it other than wow. I want to play this game.
It looks good. The game is called. I scrolled. So Star Ocean, the Second Story R.
That's quite the handle, by the way.
Yeah, it's definitely that's a prog album handle. It's a Panic at the Disco song.
Yes. Yes.
It looks like your classic JRPG, but it's an action RPG.
Yeah, so it's interesting, right? It's like the graphic style of Octopath Traveler, right? With a 3D world like Final Fantasy VII. And it's pixelated, like say, um, there's this game that I played on the PS3 that I absolutely love, and it's called 3D. I think it's 3D dot RPG. I think is the name
Huh.
of it. And it's a very hard game to find. Oh, 3D dot Game Heroes. That's the game. And this game is a very rare game to find, and is heavily rated. Highly rated, and it really reminds me of a mixture of those kind of three games. And this game to me just like screams all of that and better.
Oh yeah, I really hope this game is as finely tuned as the trailer makes it out to be, because this is right up my alley. This is what I want to play.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those that I'm just like, please bring it. And I hope it gets a physical release. If it doesn't get a physical release, I may not buy it until it does. I feel like if it doesn't get a physical release on this launch, there are those outlets like say like Super Rare Games or Limited Run that will come out with a physical release. That's how highly I see this game being in the community of this style game.
I'm sure it
That
will.
somebody
It looks like it's the kind of game that would be big enough to justify a physical release.
for sure. Oh, this next game. I don't know what to say about this one.
It's WarioWare. I don't care.
Skip it.
I do have to say that the Nintendo Direct, especially the English dubbed Nintendo Direct, was really awkward and weird during this one, and it was funny.
What do you mean? Explain.
Like the two hosts were just like acted all weird, like, oh, let's wiggle with the Wario game. What are you doing there, man? It's Wario.
Oh yeah. That was just like what? I mean, I'm surprised like like Nintendo didn't get the rights to do that use that 190 song. We like to move it, move it. We like to move it, move it. We like to
Move it.
move it.
Not everyone can sing it like Sacha Baron Cohen can sing it.
Why? Why does this game exist?
It's got such a big slot. WarioWare is like, they keep making these games. They're apparently popular. Am I just missing something? Is this another one I just don't understand?
Well, prior so WarioWare games from like the Wii era were decent. They were fun. They were very weird, interesting platformer type games. This one I just don't understand. Like, I just don't get it. Why does this game exist? Why do we need this?
It's just
game?
a compilation of minigames, right?
Yeah. Like, what is this? Like, this is silly. Like, this is something, again, talking about the Wii. This is a game. This would be a game that I would see on the Wii, not on the Switch. Like, this is ancient. This is like 20 years old kind of video game.
These are the kind of games that I see, and it makes me question why I should keep investing in console hardware. You know what I mean? Like,
It's because of games like Star Ocean. That's why.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, for every game like WarioWare Move It, there's a Star Ocean the Second Story R.
Yeah. I just I don't want to give this game more airtime. I want to move on. But this was just like I being one of the last games, like the primo like spots on the direct to get this game, I was just like, what? And then right after that,
The piece de resistance.
they released like more information about the Tears of the Kingdom amiibos. I was like, seriously? We'll talk about that at the beginning. Like, this doesn't need to be at the end of the freaking direct. Ooh, we get another 2 characters. We get Zelda and Ganondorf. Who cares? Whatever.
I always forget that amiibos are still a thing.
Right? I mean, like, because with the Switch, it's like, who uses them? Not me. I don't know.
I don't know, man. My sister, when she was little, was really into Disney Infinity. That's the closest thing I can get to amiibos.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. But that was the Wii. No, Wii U. Sorry, that was the Wii U. But that was the Wii U, man. How many decades ago was that? Ugh. Anyways, let's move on to the star of the show. And I don't know if you consider this a star of the show.
Oh, I absolutely
I do.
This is the actual piece de resistance.
I love the idea of this game. I am very excited to finally have a true 2D Mario successor to the 10-year-old Super Mario Brother Wii whatever U thing, whatever they created 10 years ago.
What was it? New Super Mario Brothers Wii U.
Something like that. Yeah. And it's not a port, it's not a remake, it's nothing. It is a new entry to the 2D series. Period. Excited. Go.
That clinches it. That's about all there is. It's beautiful looking. I'm sure it's going to run really clean. Mario, as we've already discussed, is kind of like the barrier to entry for platformers. I'm stoked about this. I just finally, for the first time, actually beat from beginning to end the original Super Mario Brothers. And I'm working my way slowly through Super Mario Brothers 3. So I'm excited to play more 2D stuff. I love 2D Mario.
I think the very interesting thing, and I don't know if you caught any of these tidbits, but this game is like a very cool mix between Super Mario Brothers 3, Super Mario Brothers World,
Yep.
and Super Mario Brothers 2. There's a big callback to Super Mario Brothers 2 here that you don't see in very many Mario Brothers games.
Is that where they go and they like he comes in the door and then turns everything black?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's that.
Doki Doki Panic.
Doki Doki Panic. Then there's the bullet stomp, like where you like flip in the air and jump down, like that was a Mario Brothers Super Mario Brothers 2 innovation. That was something they brought into Mario Brothers 3 in light of the success of it doing well in Super Mario Brothers 2. People like that, right? Another thing is, if you notice, there are things like the sand world, like the little tall things that are slinking around, like the I forget like the little things that have the sand thing. It's like stacked up on top.
The little
or
cactus
whatever.
guys.
Yeah, the cactus guys. Thank you. I also think that they break the third wall with the Mario flag, where with the crashing rhinos and such like that. The amount of callbacks and the amount of interesting new mechanics in this game is mind-blowing, and I couldn't watch that enough to really intake everything that was going on there, but I loved everything that I was watching.
Oh yeah. I've had to watch this entry in the direct about 15 times, and I still don't think I've absorbed everything. There's so much here. It's just a wild, wacky, absurd Mario adventure.
And I love the fact that it's 4-player co-op, which is awesome.
Again, what does that mean? historically in the context of Mario games, that's actually been meaningful. Um, but I don't know, Nintendo has burned me enough times on what co-op means that I'm always hesitant.
Well, so in Super Mario Brothers Wii U or whatever it is, like they have multiplayer co-op where you play at the same time, right? Um, and then they also have in the past they have the co-op where you progress together along in the world. So it really depends, to your point, like what does that co-op actually mean? I hope it's the former and not the latter, because I think the former is a much more dynamic way to play the game. And we've had that only once in the entirety of the run of 2D Mario. So we'll see how that kind of turns out. But I'm excited about the prospect of multiplayer Mario. Let's wrap this up with some final thoughts, because I have some very bold statements based on some of the conversations we previously have had around Nintendo and some of the announcements and some of the leaks and some of the rumors and some of everything else about the Switch 2. And here are some things that I want to sort of pick at on my final thoughts. And that's one, I do feel it's interesting that even though this Nintendo Direct was quite slim on IP, the IP that we got was very first-party IP announcements that almost feel like they're jamming as much as they can down our throats in 2023 to buy on the Nintendo Switch. Did you get that kind of impression here, or am I just making something up?
So, we try to talk about this a little bit beforehand, and they're sending me mixed messages to that regard.
Yeah?
So, on the one hand, it seems like they're jamming a bunch of crap to the tail end of the life cycle, right?
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, they're releasing Tears of the Kingdom, they're releasing Mario Wonder, they're releasing Mario RPG, huge titles that either indicate to me that the current version of the Switch has a longer lifestyle or a longer life cycle than we think it's going to have, or that we're going to have forwards or backwards compatibility to the next hardware. Unless,
what if,
which you brought up, I'll let you say it.
but think about it this way, right? The Switch, sorry, not the Switch, the Wii and the Wii U, right? Here's a pattern that I kind of like thought about today and rewinding some of the things that they did for the Wii and the Wii U, right? And let's even go back to the GameCube. Let's start with The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. What system did the Twilight Princess release on?
Oh god, I know very little about the Zelda
Nintendo
releases.
GameCube.
Okay.
Then it got released on the Nintendo Wii. And then it got released on the Nintendo Wii U.
Just ports, right? It wasn't even like remasters.
No, well, so the Wii U was rebuilt around the Wii U remote. So that game was redesigned and recreated for the Nintendo Wii, right? From the GameCube to the Nintendo Wii. So let's think about Tears of the Kingdom for a second. Tears of the Kingdom just came out on the Nintendo Switch. The Tears of the Kingdom is likely the successor that would then pull in them to remake. Think about this for a second. Let's really dig into that. Remake Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom on the Nintendo Switch 2 or whatever the successor of the Nintendo Switch is.
Do you think they could sell them as a single package?
No, they won't do that. They'll sell them as two different games.
Yeah, you're right.
So, if we think about it in the context of one of the biggest, largest Zelda games has ever existed that has been played on multiple systems like Twilight Princess, do you not think they would do that for their next iteration of Zelda in that same way?
Yeah, and there's historical precedent. Man.
Yeah.
That's so scummy.
So guess what? My prediction, this is my prediction. We don't get the Nintendo Switch, the next Nintendo Switch, until 2025. That's what I think is going to happen. I think the rumors are wrong that we're going to get it next year. Originally, they said the end of this year, holiday of 2023. Some have said early 2024. I think this Direct has given us the pattern, the idea, the thought, the information that the Switch is not near its end of life of what we generally have been thinking it was going to be, and we won't see one until holiday of 2025. And guess what will happen? We will then see a lot of these games on the Nintendo Switch get ported over, remade to be games on the next iteration of whatever that is.
Tears of the Kingdom, Mario Bros. Wonder, Mario RPG, Scarlet and Violet.
Yep.
Yep.
It's a pattern, man. It's a pattern that I just didn't realize until I watched this Direct. And I, digressed on it. I thought about it. And I was like, let's think about this for a second, folks. Let's go all the way back to the GameCube. How many games did we see from the GameCube era go to the Wii and the Wii U? That's 2 eras of Nintendo. And keep in mind, those games came out at the end of the life cycle of the GameCube.
How many?
We are there's first party games. There's 3. Twilight Princess,
Yep.
Smash Brothers.
Oh yeah.
Many people don't realize Smash Brothers made it over to the Wii. They updated it, but it was the same darn game.
Because we didn't get a new one until the Switch, right?
Yeah. And there's 2 other ones. It's escaping me at the moment. But anyways, there was 4 games, and it's my brain. It's late at night. My brain is scamming me at the moment. But if you really think about it, I guess think of Super Mario Brothers Wii U, right? Super Mario Brothers Wii U came out, and then they came out with a port to the Switch as a new game, right? That's another example.
Yep.
Super Mario Brothers Wonder, right? So they're carrying that over. There's a lot of this that is just like, man, the fingerprints are all over the place. I could be wrong, but my speculation is this. We won't see a new Nintendo Switch or iteration of until 2025. We will then see games like Super Mario Bros. Wonder, Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, Pikmin, and some of these other games that are staples of the Nintendo brand become the staple of the next system, along with things like, say, a new version of, an updated version of, oh my gosh, what was the one that we were talking about?
Splatoon, probably.
Splatoon, maybe, but
Unless
I'm
they do
thinking,
Splatoon 4 for the.
sorry. a new Mario Kart will be sort of that next Switch, right? Because Mario
That I
Kart
could
8,
see.
again,
That I could see.
speaking of, right, like Mario Kart 8, as we were talking earlier, is a Wii U game.
Uh-huh.
So think about it. The pattern is there, man. The pattern is there. What do you think? What's your thoughts? Am I just blowing smoke?
No, I think I'm pretty much on board with that. I think the other thing that gives credence to that theory is if we were going to see Switch 2 come out holiday this year, we would have seen something about it in this direct. They would have started driving hype because holiday's 6 months away, not even.
Right, and we wouldn't have got new IPs with Super Mario Brothers Wonder, with very little details, but the new Peach game, the new, you know what I'm saying? Like those games, Pikmin 4, all these others, we would not be getting these games right now. We wouldn't be.
We'd be getting them. We'd be getting them beginning of next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's where I just feel like this is a ploy to set up and say that the Switch is here for the next few years because that's what we're doing, because the Switch is still adequate with what we want to do. And we won't get the next iteration announcement until late next year. Maybe mid to late next year. But here's a question I have for you. With all of this said, with all of this past history between Wii and Wii U and GameCube and cross, pulling games through to different generations, are the rumors wrong thinking that the next Switch iteration will be able to be cross-platform compatible backwards to the Switch cartridges?
I think at this point in 2023, I would be very, very disappointed in them as a company if they didn't support backwards compatibility between the next generation Switch and this generation. Especially because I can't imagine it's going to be a huge hardware overhaul. I think it's going to be Switch with better components. And otherwise largely the same. Maybe a slightly updated OS, but again, that shouldn't affect the cartridges.
Do you realize that in the history of Nintendo...
Oh, I know.
They've only had 2 instances where they had cross-compatibility with systems?
They had Game Boy to Advance, and then they had... Well, to be fair, you could play original Game Boy games on the Advance all the way up through the SP, and then you could play Game Boy Advance style cartridges on the DS up until the 3DS came out.
But true backwards compatibility from generational leaps. The first one, the GameCube, could play GBA and Game Boy games.
Oh, that's right, it could.
If you bought the base to plug the game in.
Yep.
Lastly, the Wii, which could play GameCube games, the disc-based games.
Yes.
Those are the only 2 times from a generational leap that they have had cross-compatibility within just generational changes.
Going from GameCube to Wii U is a huge architecture overhaul. Yeah. So they did have it with that, to be fair. But Nintendo's kind of a scummy company also, so you have to factor that in.
I am actually concerned about the fact that I don't think Nintendo Switch games, knowing what's going on right now on this Direct, I don't think Nintendo Switch games are going to be playable on the next iteration of whatever that next console
I
is.
have that same genuine concern, and in fact, I've had that concern for a couple of years now, and it's really prevented me from buying more games for the Switch. There's been a lot of stuff. I still haven't played Mario Odyssey. I'd really like to play that, but I'm really afraid the moment I buy it, Switch 2 is coming out and it's incompatible. Same with all these. Like, I'd really love to play Panic at the Disco RPG dot game and Super Mario Brothers Wonder. I'd love to. As soon as I buy a cartridge, they're gonna say it. Switch 2, no compatibility. So I've been holding out for a while, just waiting for news to know if it's safe to buy these games or not.
I guess the lingering question here is
It's one of the reasons I like PC so much. I can buy a
why
game
would they?
now, and 20 years from
Yeah,
now, I can still play the game.
but why would they? I guess I, I I guess the question I ask myself often, and I guess maybe I'm a little bit close to the rumors than others, and that's why I sort of feel this way. Is on one hand, I ask myself why would they do that? Because I don't think that would be a very good business decision. But at the same time, on the other hand, like, well, is it a very good business decision to have cross compatibility in that way when you talk about the cartridges? Like, why would you have two cartridge slots and one system? You know what I mean?
We've discussed before, in my opinion, is that they shouldn't need two cartridge slots. They should be. It's just a micro not even a micro. It's just a regular SD card. It's a glorified SD card. You should be able to fit it in either system and read it accordingly.
But if they plan on doing 4K gaming, and this is where we don't know. We don't know the trajectory of what's next for the next iteration of Nintendo. And that's, are they looking to go the 4K gaming route as rumors have suggested? And if that's the case, there's no way that the existing cartridges could fit that in their model. And that's the part of it that I'm wrestling. That is the
Well, the
that is
existing
the
cartridge games wouldn't have to be 4K, right? They just get scaled
true.
up. They
But the
play
existing cartridges, no, but the existing cartridges couldn't be used to play those bigger to contain those bigger games with 4K gaming.
No, you create a bigger cartridge, but like I said, it's like going from USB 2.0 to USB 3.0, or just having variant size USB drives. SD cards already come in variant sizes.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So like it's like a micro switch. So on the case of that, if you think of it in that scenario, right? It's like micro SD versus regular size SD. So it would be like switch to gigantic switch.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying. Yeah.
It's just a newer generation SD card that's got a higher storage capacity and faster data buses. But the port itself could easily have drivers for either generation card.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. So to kind of cap us off here, like knowing all this and me putting that bug in the ear at the end of this, let's walk away with this from a prediction standpoint. Michael, what do you feel that everything that we discussed? Where do you think we net out on when we will hear about the next Switch and when that release would happen?
I think that you are spot on the money for a 2025 holiday release for Switch 2. When we will hear about it? Probably after this year's holiday, because they don't want to drive holiday hype for a product that does not exist. So spring of 2024, I think, is when we will first get public correspondence, official public correspondence about the Switch 2. if assuming the 2025 holiday release is correct.
I think it's going to be a holiday 2025 release. I'm sticking with that, and I think it's going to be a fall of 2024 announcement. And the reason why I say that is because the amount of 2024 games that we just got in this direct is telltale signs that 2024 they're not going to slow down. They're only going to speed up their releases for the Nintendo Switch to beat the release announcement of the next Switch.
Now, to that end, because we've already discussed that Nintendo doesn't particularly care about timing their big releases at the end of life cycles, it's entirely possible that that releasing more big titles between now and holiday 2024 is actually a business strategy for them, so that people buy big titles for this console and then buy them again in 2024. If so, I guess what I'm trying to say is all these big releases at the end of 2023 could actually also signify a 2024 release of the Switch 2, where they just expect you to buy these games again.
Except if they decide to actually do backwards compatibility from the hardware perspective.
Yes.
And so that's where like this is like
that's the linchpin, isn't it? If backwards compatibility is actually a goal for the Switch 2, and I really hope it is, then 2025 makes more sense.
Yeah.
If they don't want backwards compatibility, then they're going to try to get you to buy stuff hard between now and the end of 2023, and then 2024 is going to be Switch 2 year.
But which is weird because they like in this direct we got like what 4 big games that are announced for 2024.
Yep.
So like that's what's weird about this is if that's the case, if 2024 like and this is where the paradigm of this conversation really kind of hits in a very weird spot, right? Is because the fact that we already know there are Switch games, big ones, that are going to release in 2024. However, here's a very interesting perspective. First-party games are all fall of 2023.
Yep. See? So here, at the end of the day, here's where I'm at. I will repeat. Until I know for sure whether or not we will have backwards compatibility with the Switch 2, I can't in good faith justify buying any of these games. Other than Vampire Survivors, because it'll be like $5. But like, I'm not going to spend $60 on Mario Wonder when I can't play it on the Switch 2, which is going to come out in the following year. That's a bad economic decision on my part.
And this is where like Pikmin 4 release slots in a very weird, awkward place. Pikmin 4 slots next month.
That's a big deal
right?
game.
It's a big deal game. And so this is where my 2025 brain is like, ooh, okay. Yes, we have some big first-party games, coming out in the fall of 2023. But we have this really weird, most anticipated game coming out now, which is like alarm bells. 2025, brother. That's where I'm going. I'm just like, like
I can't do it. I
There's
want to play
some
these
weird
games and I can't.
There's some weird like it's really weird. It's just really weird. That's all I'm saying. Super Mario RPG again, fall. Mario Wonder, fall. Pikachu, fall. Like all of these big games are fall. And then you have Pikmin right in the middle. If Pikmin is the next, okay, here we go. This is a very astute, very controversial, probably
Very
like
astute.
yeah, that's it. But Pikmin 4 is the next Breath of the Wild, or sorry, Twilight Princess of Nintendo to play in 3 generations of Nintendo.
Oh yeah, I believe it. That sounds right.
Because of exactly where it's slotted. I don't know. I'm spitballing at this point. But, like, dude, this screams very weird vibes to me and very scummy vibes. And I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I just really hope I'm wrong.
I would love to start having a collection of games. Like I said, I've been struggling with this for a couple years now. The Switch is old enough that I've been holding off since 2020 easily. I'm like, oh, this would be the great time to buy Switch games and play some of these. But I'm afraid that as soon as I do, it's the next console now.
Thank you for listening to our latest episode. You can comment on this and other episodes at galaxygametv.com. Be sure to check out our YouTube channel and follow us on Twitch for additional gaming content. Also, if you want to support our show or Galaxy Game TV, check out our Patreon for exclusive content and great giveaways to our supporters. Until next time, we bid you farewell.